Hello there, welcome to Business Today. I'm Jerome Paul Sanko with Winnie Wiyinza Nakauchi on sign language. And tonight, we look at more of the stories regarding Uganda's fintech ecosystem. We shall be having sustainable food system in Karamoja. We shall as well look at the impact of IFRIS on investment and digital transition in banking, among the others. Now, let's get right onto it with our very fast looking at Uganda's fintech ecosystem. The access to funding restricts the potential for innovation, growth and development of fintech companies. According to a recent state of the fintech research, 57% of the fintech companies are self-funded, now which, according to experts, is not sustainable and requires the diversification of finance. Pedison Mumbere has more on this report.
Into Josephine Olok, the board chairperson, Financial Technology Service Providers Association, FITSPA, partnership, investment and capital are key pillars in helping the fintech ecosystem.
We understand that the funding, that 50% funding, which is self-funded, is not sustainable, because how much can you keep asking people, your friends, your family for money, right? So, and even you yourself, you may not have deep enough pockets to keep your business running. So there is a gap in the market, and that is why at FITSPA we are creating partnerships with different institutions. We have ABI Finance who are helping us to generate some financing, but I think we can do more. We know that funding does come into the country, and there are a few fintechs which have benefited from that, but we know that a lot more fintechs can benefit. So the issue is, how do we attract investors? How do we create partnerships? How do we, as the discussion was progressing, how do we ensure that local investors also get an understanding of what the fintech market is, what the opportunities are?
Recent research on the status of the fintech sector in 2022 shows that 57% of the fintech startups are self-funded, which is unsustainable. Therefore, it is crucial to diversify its sources of funding. According to Robert Mukiza, the Director General of Uganda Investment Authority, setting up a firm in Uganda is simple for both domestic and foreign partners. He mentioned that Financial Technology Service Providers Association FITSPA will now be listed on the portfolio to open them up to more contributions and working on comprehensive regulations as a way of eliminating fraud in fintech.
It's quite important because you see fintech is, and especially when you're talking about payment solutions, regulation, there is a lot of risk involved in that, particularly when you're removing the interface with the person. But the role of government is to see how they can make the regulation an enabling regulation, whereby it reduces the bureaucracy and the transaction costs to start your business or to thrive.
It's going to be handled under governance, good governance and regulation. So as you know, a lot of our fintechs, a number of fintechs are now regulated under the central bank, and that requires governance, good governance, cybersecurity, and making sure that they're dealing with and having processes in place that deals with fraud. The other thing is also making sure we create the partnerships, because a lot of our fintechs are regulated with say NITA, under UCC. So we do have partnerships with those institutions.
When the National Payments Systems Act 2022 was passed, it was a relief for participants in the Uganda's rapidly growing financial technology ecosystem. There was a sense of uncertainty and growing worry at the moment because of the main field of possible issues that arose from lack of regulations.
Since the enactment of the 2022 National Payment Systems law, there were implementing regulations that came through in 2021. So the operationalizing of these regulations is ongoing. So in terms of being able to get the license, I would implore the listeners or people who are acting under this particular space to first of all understand their business models. Where do they fall within this regulatory ambit? Are they payment service providers? Are they payment system operators? Or are they offering payment instruments? So in terms of the regulatory requirements, I would refer them to the specific Regulation 3 and Regulation 4 of the Implementing National Payment Systems Regulations 2021, which categorically outline the requirements one has to have and the particular forms someone has to fill so that they can have these regulations, they can regularize their operations and acquire a license with Bank of Uganda.
UCC, Airtel, as MTN, but also the Association of Payment Service Providers, to really combat, the fraud incidents that are happening in the market, because financial services will thrive with trust. If the customer doesn't trust the system, they will keep the money under their mattresses. So we have done quite a bit, I think, for the past 2 months now, aggressively pushing communication on radio in terms of the need to protect the customer's PIN. This has happened mainly through social engineering, the cases that we've got. But from the time we did that sensitization, the cases have significantly dropped.
Today's fintechs have improved interconnectively between financial institutions thanks to services like MTN and Airtel Money. Compared to 0.6 million consumers and 133 billion in transactions in 2015, mobile money use has increased quickly with over 30.74 million registered users and a transaction value of 79.8 trillion in 2022. Looking at the overall economic outlook, the digital economy contributed to 6.3% to the Ugandans GDP, 3% to Rwanda's GDP, 9.4% to Kenya's, and 17.83% to Nigeria's. Nigeria and Kenya, with respective contribution to the digital economy of 17.83% and 9.2%, are at the top of the rankings. Bedson Mumbere, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
And now we look at the sustainable food system in Karamoja region. Recently, the government of Uganda announced a project called the Green Belt in Karamoja. This particular one will aid residents in avoiding starvations in places like Kabong, Nabilatuk and Nakapiripirit, among others. During a high-level dialogue about the preparation of the celebrations of World Food Day, Uganda's third Deputy Prime Minister, Right Honorable Rukia Isanga Nakadama, emphasized the need to review food policies and make adjustments on food policies as well. Samuel Kirimunda reports.
National World Food Day celebration, a review of food policy will be taken into considerations as we assess the food and nutrition security situation in various regions of the country. These include in Karamoja, the eastern and the northern sections. According to Right Honorable Rukia Nakadama Isanga, the government would direct enterprise selection and ensure enough amounts and quality of seed, breeding and stocking materials, among other things, through the parish development model under the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal and Fisheries.
Part of the International World Food Day, we are to reflect on our food and nutrition security situation, consider reviewing our food policies and make amendments, and the amendments were necessary under the spirit of leaving no one behind. I agree with the phrase that better production, better nutrition, and better environment, and a better life. In this regard, the dialogue is to provide space and time for us to check on the resiliency and sustainability of our agri-food systems to deliver better production, better nutrition, a better environment, and a better life.
Honorable Fred Bueno Chakulaga, the State Minister for Agriculture, stated that while the government of Uganda has been sending food to keep people from going hungry, it has also introduced a Green Belt project to assist women farmers in Karamoja in growing more crops on 1,000 acres of land that has been gazetted for them.
Come up with a project to organize women and women groups along that belt at the sub-county level so that it can support them to produce food on a large scale, food that is nutritious, food that includes cereals, legumes, oilseeds, and animal protein. We shall support them also to mobilize the surrounding communities to produce similarly. We are doing this to create a sustainable system, food system in Karamoja.
Uganda should look at how to develop solutions to improve on production and value addition on what we eat, according to Dr. Antonio Querido, country representative for Food and Agriculture Organization.
Of the key aspect that too often hinders this successful transformation is that when we look at the national, regional, even of a global level, in terms of strategies, in terms of the policies, in terms of the legislations, too often we are doing this very compartmentalized. So the challenge for this transformation is then how we look at the system, agri-food system, in a continuum. How we improve the production. How do we ensure that we don't have post-harvest loss? How we add value and how we market in a way that the food that reaches our table is a healthy food, is a safe food, and is food that is affordable.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni instructed the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to support the Agriculture Ministry's strategy by giving the agricultural machinery, seeds, fertilizers, and irrigation equipment in order to increase food production and end food insecurity in the country. Andrew Barije, Samuel Chirimunda, Smart 24, Business Today.
All right, now let's talk matters electronic physical receipting and invoicing system and its impact on investment. With the rapidly changing nature of trade, which is increasingly being powered by technology, it is important for the taxman to adopt the new trend to overcome technical barriers in assessing digital transactions in business. The introduction of the IFRS system has in a way impacted and boosted the revenue collection and mobilization, but at the expense of traders' dissatisfaction. Brony Katosime has more in this report.
The Revenue Authority implemented an electronic physical receipting and invoicing system on the 21st January 2021. It was aimed at providing an ease in doing businesses in Uganda. However, IFRS has affected some businesses in Uganda.
The positive side, but also has a negative side. Because now, as long as you put this, because these ones we purchase, we pay. It is also added as an expense. I just wish the government was just giving it, because manufacturers are the builders of the economy. If they would pay for them, they print and give us, so that this one can help to differentiate the formal business and informal, would be very happy. So when it was introduced, that is another expense, which our customer doesn't want to know. I cannot go and say, I've been selling my bottle at 20, now I want 25 because I have this another expense. That one cuts your profits.
Science and technology is very good. We have really tried to embrace it. But access to internet, in our country, is still a bit low. First of all, it's very expensive. We can't afford it at some point. And there are some programs which are online. You can only access them when you have a computer, not my simple phone. Some of us don't even have those computers. In fact, the most important system, Genesis Okusanga, where I've been finding a lot of difficulty, is the IFRS. I've tried to go on it to make sure that, for example, if I'm exporting my products from Uganda to another country.
The use of technology in tax administration makes it possible to establish the true tax worth of diverse commodities by identifying their key qualities. The produced data will give URA the resources and knowledge it needs to assess taxes rather than trying to track down the chain of production. Additionally, it is anticipated that the new tool will assist of the nation's tax base, boosting GDP.
Because ideally, if I want to categorize you well, so that I do not make an assumption which value I'm attaching to a particular item, say at the customs point, then actually you'll be paying the right taxes depending on what item you've brought. For example, if I'm to look at a fabric, if I'm to look at juices, if I'm to look at other items that require us knowing in the laboratory how much is in the ingredients of one item for the other. If it's maybe alcohol, we need to know the concentrations and all that. Ideally, if it's a drink, in fact, you need to know whether you can say it's alcoholic or non-alcoholic. You need to know the alcohol content, and you cannot just prove that by word of mouth. You have to go inside a lab. So ideally, we are saving costs as URA.
Program D20 was introduced because that is the only way people can differentiate the certified products and those which are not certified. I want to explain to the public more about it. When you hear this e-freeze, because it starts with the digital stamps putting on our products, because there is no way you can sell using this e-freeze when you don't have those digital stamps. So it is a combination of KCCA, URA, and UNBS. KCCA, it means the product are being produced in the proper environment and proper premises, and you have to be paying license. And UNBS makes sure that the products are of quality.
Even though some businesses have encountered challenges in Uganda with e-freeze, it is advantageous in a way that it helps in bookkeeping skills and also the tracking of authentic business transactions. Bronia Katsime, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
And now we talk digital transition in banking. The Bank of Uganda has observed an increase in the usage of digital and electronic methods of transactions as well as various payments. It increased from 41.98 trillion shillings in June 2021 to 47.75 trillion shillings. That is a 13.73% increase. Now, the majority of Ugandans are now using electronic payments more frequently as a result of the 6.7% decline in check payments during the month ending in June. Let's have more in this report.
Jemka Kembo, Managing Director of EFC, indicated that the central bank and approved banks will be able to prevent fraud and offer speedy services as customers use the bank digital services anywhere and at any time in an interview.
The monetary policy tools they use quickly flow through into the economy for the central bank to achieve its objectives, as opposed to where cash is still very much king, where we're still using checks, so the lag effect is longer, and a lot of those things take a while to go through. The other beauty about digital is that then the payment system or the banks and financial institutions are able to collect substantial data around the users of these systems, and then we can develop financial solutions to solve problems of the day. We can develop new products because then we understand better the behavior of our customers through collecting data on the usage of the digital platforms. Yes, the customers, the consumers, press the digital platforms and do things digitally, especially for the convenience they bring, but also for the promise of the future of better financial services.
Digital transactions are preferable to writing checks since they need less time to maintain than the paper ones. The corporate world should adopt digital methods to facilitate and improve transactions.
Digital transactions are much better because even these checkbooks are also an expense to the company. Every relief we have is a cost, and at times, okay, like it even eases work.
The value of dollar checks was decreased from $5,500 to $2,750. Ugandan shillings was decreased from shillings 20 million to 10 million. Euro checks were reduced from 4,500 euros to 2,250 euros. Kenyan shilling checks were reduced from 600,000 Kenyan shillings to 300,000 Kenyan shillings. British pounds were reduced from 4,400 pounds to 2,200 pounds. Digital transactions and payments have the ability to transform the economy. Financial institutions and stakeholders should promote and implement them. Martha Nimsima, Smart24, Business Today.
And now let's talk trade promotion and advertising. Because there are more channels and marketing tools available online than there are with traditional marketing techniques, entrepreneurs have access to a handful of marketing necessities. Now, the future of advertising and marketing in Uganda will be centered on technology, but business owners have not yet adopted to it due to lack of awareness. Naomi Mutumba has more details.
The COVID-19 pandemic has greatly disrupted life, but even in such unprecedented times, some businesses continue to flourish. The internet has radically transformed how we build and promote businesses. With this trend, entrepreneurs have access to far more resources and far more potential than ever before. However, a great deal of them winds up ignoring those fruitful prospects by skipping marketing or delaying it as a necessary expense, despite the important part it may play in expanding businesses.
Yes, advertising adds a lot of value to businesses because then it is through advertising that marketeers are able to send out information about products, about services, and the marketing function is about realizing sales mostly. But you see, before you realize sales, you have to create awareness, you have to create sensitization, you have to your stakeholders, to your market. So through advertising, businesses are able to say more and more about their products.
The role of technology on marketing towards the growth of marketing. As we move on every day, there is one thing that does not change, is the need for technology. Every day there is something new that comes up. The same softwares or the systems that we used to use in a couple of years ago are not the same ones that we use today. So even when COVID came, you realize that everything moved to the digital space, which is all technology. And the truth is, the future is. We always say the future is digital, because at some point we are going to all close our offices and just focus on working from home. So technology is important for marketing.
Due to the additional channels and marketing tools available online marketing provides entrepreneurs with a few marketing necessities in contrast to traditional marketing tactics. But the majority of clients don't seem to be interested in the online marketing methods that many entrepreneurs and firms have embraced. This is probably due to the poor approaches.
We have common challenges, and these are the challenges as Uganda Advertising Association we try to tackle. For example, training is a challenge. For example, there is no advertising school in Uganda. People, and it's very hard to find somebody they studied advertising and now they're working in advertising agencies. We all found ourselves in advertising, and then we started learning.
There is never a better time than now for medium, small and macro enterprises to explore alternative marketing channels, including the use of technology.
Ones who you find create their own artwork, they create their own small videos to advertise their products.
The future is in digital, the future is in technology, because technology is here to disrupt a lot of things. Even now, so that's the future. Creativity is key. How do you play in those spaces in a creative way? For example, 5-6 years ago, TikTok was not in Uganda. It was not even recognized. Today it's here, and it's a platform you cannot ignore. So the future is in technology, it's in digital. Underlying that is creativity. So we need to sharpen our creative, should I say, thinking knife and stuff like that in order to compete and unlock value for ourselves and also for our clients.
That is, even if you're selling shoes, just shoes, you need to have a brand identity. To create that brand identity, it's not instant. You have to put a lot of thought into it. So the brand identity can be your logo, your colors, How do you want, what is your vision for this small business that you have?
Business owners must use a simple content marketing strategy that is essential for drawing buyers' attention to a certain product that is posted right away. Depending on the type of business, different formats are used in this strategy. Therefore, business owners must embrace content marketing since it enables internet clients to acquire products of their real choice voluntarily and persuasively. Naomi Mtumba, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Away from that, the Mineral Wealth Conference has got Uganda, which is endowed with over 50 different types of minerals and ranking among the countries in Africa with the biggest number of minerals, although the potential for viable exploitation has not yet been established for most of these minerals. Now, with the conference, with the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, there has been emphasis on the ban on unprocessed minerals as a way of increasing value addition. Ronald.
More than 80% of the country's mineral amounts and localities have been surveyed. Large amounts of underutilized mineral resources exist in Uganda, including quantities of gold, oil, high-grade tin, tungsten or wolfram, salt, beryllium, cobalt, kaolin, iron ore, glass sand, vermiculite, phosphates, uranium and rare earth elements. Mining and the mineral processing offer investment opportunities, and the mining industry is given unique incentives, such as the full write-off of capital expenditures. According to the Energy Minister Ruth Nankabirwa, the 2015 restriction on exporting raw minerals is still in effect, thus emphasizing the ban on the exportation of minerals that have not undergone the required amount of processing.
Time around, we are saying that we are putting a ban on exportation of our minerals which are not processed and processed to a required percentage. So we are encouraging investors to come and invest in refineries for the minerals. Like for gold, we have the gold refineries. We want to see many more refineries being done in Uganda so that we can give job opportunities for our people, and also technology transfer. So today I was addressing many people, many investors who are interested in investing in our minerals, just to remind them that already that ban is on, we are implementing it, and that we would like to see an integration of our mineral subsector supporting the oil and gas subsector.
More exposure regarding the presence of minerals is required, as Uganda is not included on the global list of mineral investment destinations.
And so we've been spending, we spent I think about maybe $5 million over the last couple of years to really take the mine from its initial stage up to a place where we can take it into production. Now, once we take it into production, we're expecting to invest about $60 to $80 million in the plant and the facilities. Of course, we have to upgrade the roads, we have to get the power and the infrastructure all sorted out. So by 2025, if all goes well, we should be in full production. By that point, we'll have invested about $60 to $80 million.
Some investors keep up with the contracts for mining graphite, which supports the performance of electric buses. Rona Nahabwe, Business Today, Smart 24 TV.
And there you have it. After the break, Business Today will continue, and we've got more discussions coming up, including the Coffee Court.